What's up? So, how was today? Today was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Another day of this accountability series. You know what it is, what it's up. Yep. Started off the day, woke up late because yesterday we came in here late, so there was no running. This is the second day of not running to go and do devotion. But nonetheless, because I've been doing devotion, I kind of, I figured out that it's about the action. It isn't about the placement. You feel me? I'm glad I've gotten to that point in time of my practice. So yeah, with that being said, I cool. After dropping off my nephew, went to the beach. You know what I'm saying? I talked with my bud, did devotion. It's cool aside. You feel me? Been lacking on the reading though, but hey, it is what it is. I should read before I sleep. Will I? I'm not sure. Will I feel bad if I don't? No, because we're not in it for that. Alright, cool. Then sorted out some bank stuff. After sorting out some bank stuff, yeah, sorted out some money stuff. After sorting out some money stuff, went out shopping, came back, made eggs for my rents. Made breakfast. Everybody's happy. And then from then on, went to fetch my nephew. Car broke down. Well, the tire punctured again. Had to fix that. After fixing that, alright, cool. Bought some stuff, went to the beach, got some ice cream, came back home, washed the car. Finally finished Bootstrap. The course on Bootstrap on Free Code Camp, which is actually pretty good. Tomorrow I move on to jQuery. Haha. Progression 101 without the frustration. So that's pretty good. And the lesson of today and the moral of the story of today is that, yo, in all honesty, I believe I should work on things a lot more socially because, okay, there's a lot that I can mention in terms of things that happen during the day, including the subtleties of interaction between people and I, but that's besides the point. That's going to be a long-winded conversation, so let's not do that. So yeah, the chat is that, the game. I'm going to title this the game. You see, when it comes to the game, now, I remember this one thing that Jordan Peterson said in one of his lectures, like, in order to be the most popular kid in the field, you have to play the game that everybody wants to play. Now, when you're coexisting with people, right, and you're aiming to get into social situations, from my point of view, especially because I've been on the individualistic path and kind of been uncompromising when it comes to that. Sometimes foolishly so, but that's besides the point. I noticed that, hey, what are these narratives? What are these expressions? What are these statements? What are these things that these people that I'm living with, what do they keep on saying? And the stuff that isn't so pleasant, it's best to work on that. Obviously, there's a benefit to self, right? But, it's pretty much like a game. It's best to keep people happy. Obviously, there's a point in time where it's like, okay, cool, it could compromise you, but, just finding that balance of finessing certain things, Because at the end of the day, we're living here with people, so gotta find a way around it. And I pretty much found my own way around it as to how to play the game with people. Because you can play it for yourself, but the more you play it with people, the far better you are, and the far more progress will actually be made, which is something that I've been coming to notice as of late, and I'm really aiming to implement. Because these people negative chats are not the one. Really can't be having it, especially when I know that this is actually pretty simple. So, my aim of the game, right, within these 3 months to change gears. I believe in these 3 months I could really. Okay, I'm about to close off into per se the self-taught developer route when it comes to being a front-end designer, but I believe I could also, really push it within these 3 months to get to the back end as well. So between now and then, right? Between now and February, March. March being like, alright, cool, I'm partying, I'm leaving this place. I don't mind leaving earlier, but definitely March I'm leaving. That's one thing for sure. I ain't even gonna cap. Is to actually start playing the social game here with family, right? And understanding life more so as a game, because till a high degree game theory, or let me just say games are based upon life and life are based upon games, and reality can be stranger than fiction. So you know how the saying goes. You know how perception goes. So with that being said, it's just understanding things as a game, and understanding that sometimes I'm not really ready to do certain things. Like yesterday, I was contemplating whether I should lie or not about where I'm going, what I'm doing, who I'm gonna be with. And there's a difference between lying and being discreet, because lying is like, okay, cool, you owe someone the truth. Discretion is more so like, I don't need to tell you who I'm with. So, alright, cool. With that being said, I've noticed that with such moments when it comes to telling the truth, for me, it's a bit of a process, especially when I know that I'm going to lie. And the best thing to do is to actually define the truth fully and what it is. Because sometimes, I could rush towards telling, let me just say, from the get go, describing the truth as a half truth and half lie instead of as the truth fully. And I'm like, this is so unnecessary. I mean, it's convenient to throw out there, but when it comes to like life and my personal reality, it's like, okay, cool, I've just corrupted it, because initially I didn't even acknowledge the truth for what it is, so I acknowledge the half truth half lie, which is basically a lie, for what it is. So all right, cool, that's the first thing. Then the second thing is actually just building up the HP. You feel me? In between that, you could kind of try and bridge the gap between the truth and the lies and try and figure out, but like, anyways, building up the HP is probably the most important thing to actually approach the truth, and to actually express the truth for what it is. And sometimes considering the manner within how you're going to express it, because sometimes, yeah, there's certain things that have to be considered, such as the social leverage that you might have at hand, but you never acknowledged, or how you convey the message, or when you convey the message, which is still the truth. Yeah. So that's that. So in terms of this game logic, I've noticed that, all right, cool, let's really aim to please people, tell the truth. So basically, let me just say this practice of truth and getting into the truth, right, is the same practice of, per se, doing these tasks, doing these things, abiding by these certain rules that I'm not so ready to abide by. I need to build up the HP. I need to find out, okay, what is the necessity of this? Of what relevance is this? What is the narrative? Or what is a better narrative than the narrative that I have currently? You get me? So, yeah, definitely truth is another value and a moral. A value and a moral that I'll add to, per se, my morals and values, because I understand the practice and the essentiality of it, and understanding how to maneuver in it or with it according to like the best narratives, but not a narrative that'll actually like blunt it, but kind of make it better, because you could always be so blunt, but some things don't have to be distasteful, and actually distinguishing between discretion and truth, it's quite a fine balance. So that's my chat in terms of the game and truth. But definitely, looking at life as a game is probably my next thing, just to, per se, add an aesthetic, but not to sensationalize it too much. I guess an aesthetic is a sensationalization, but I feel like this would work best, especially understanding my perspective in terms of HP, in terms of XP, in terms of what's the next level. But this is the first level, just making sure that everything is good, cohesive with the family. Because, hey,